Have you ever worked for a company that was so amazing that you just couldn't wait to be a part of what they had going on next? What about a company that was so terrible that you just could not wait to run away from it? In today's video, we're going to talk about the difference between establishing a healthy and a good, strong company culture. And I can guarantee you that those leaders did two different things. Hi, I'm Barika from Simply Unique Coaching. I have been leading for over 15 years. I've led over 18 teams. Actually, my first paid leadership position was in 1997, and I was working in a retail grocery store, and I was promoted to the front end manager as a 17-year-old. In today's video, we're going to talk about the difference between establishing a strong company culture and what it looks like and what those leaders are doing differently from leaders who may have a weaker company culture. So I'm going to share a little bit of my experience when it comes to this particular topic because I've led over 18 teams. I've led way more than 15 years. I just have stopped counting at 15, stopped counting at 18 right now. I'm currently leading 2 remote teams and probably more to come as time goes on. But here's what I've learned about having a strong company culture is that it actually requires intentionality. This does not happen by chance. What can happen is a leader can be so clear on what they want to have happen in the company that they may actually be doing this unknowingly. But I can guarantee you that leaders that have good company cultures, they are doing some things with intentionality, whether they realize it or not. But it definitely takes intentionality. So now that you're watching this video, whatever team you're leading, I want you to be intentional about establishing that healthy culture. And actually, the second thing that I learned was that companies that tend to have weak company cultures, they actually are allowing things to happen by happenstance or with lesser amounts of intentionality. And that's why things are not going the way that they really want on their teams. So you might see low morale on the team. You might see low productivity on the team. And that's going to be a part of that, not necessarily having maybe the best type of company culture. Now, of course, there can be some things that can come into play. However, for the most part, when you establish a healthy culture, it doesn't matter if there are difficult circumstances and obstacles in the way, the team is going to be able to push through it because they're going to work together to make sure that it gets done. The third thing that I learned is that it's actually never too late to turn things around. That's one of my favorite sayings to individuals if they're maybe going off track when they're working with me, is that it's never too late to turn it around. Even for me, if I see something going off track, maybe something that is not going the way that I really want it to go, I know, okay, I need to do something and intervene in here so we can get things turned around quickly and to do it as quickly as possible. So next we're going to talk about strategies, and then I'm going to tell you about how I actually implement these particular items to help me create healthy and good team cultures. Remember what I said earlier about these things happening intentionally. And what's really happening is that these leaders are so clear on what they want. They know beyond a shadow of a doubt, they're able to articulate and communicate exactly what they want. And honestly, if a team is not following what the leader actually wants, a lot of times, and I have to say it because it's true, this is what I've experienced as I've been talking to small business owners, as I've talked to different leaders, is that they're not actually really clear on what they want. It's maybe clear up here, but when they try to articulate it, they're not able to articulate it in a way that other people can understand it and get a picture in their brain of what that person is talking about. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips. People learn 3 different styles primarily. You have your auditory learners, you have your visual learners, and you have your kinesthetic learners. So you need to figure out what type of communicator you are and what type of learner you are. And then you need to figure out what type your team is. Because if you're an auditory learner, that means you're going to learn by hearing and by speaking, by, people who say, oh, I got to talk this out loud. And then they kind of talk around in circles and then they come to the conclusion. Well, when it comes to a visual person, that's going to drive them nuts because they're going to be like, okay, I can't see the picture that you're trying to show me. So just know that as leaders, it's our responsibility to know how we're wired so we can help support our team members by helping them by the way that they're wired. Okay. With that being said, when we can clearly see it in our head and we can clearly communicate it out our mouths, then it's going to land a lot better for the team, and the team is going to be able to deliver. The team is going to be able to quickly discern and detect if they're on course or off course, okay? So that's one of the things that we want to look at as a strategy. Also, we want to define what our non-negotiables are, because there are going to be some things that we absolutely will not tolerate on our teams. And as a good leader, there should be some things that you don't tolerate. Like, I know I said this in one of my other videos, and people who are in leadership and who are actually leading the team, they understand this to be true. And any negative comments I've gotten from anybody, I know that they're really not leading a team. If they had a negative reaction to me saying that I will not tolerate insubordination on my team, and then that tells me that they're probably the insubordinate person, but whatever. That's their float their boat. And if they are a leader and they want to have a team full of insubordinate people, go for it. You know, you can have every insubordinate person in the world on your team if that's what you want. They're going to drive you nuts, but and nothing's going to get done. But if that's what you want, that's what you can have, right? And so there's some things that they're not going to tolerate, you know, and because it's anti the mission, you know, it's against the mission. And if we're going in one direction, if we're going north and this person wants to go southwest, then that just is no bueno. That's not going to work. They're going to derail the whole trip, you know, trying to go in a different direction in the whole organization. So we have to be clear on what those things are. The next thing we want to do is we want to share the vision. We want to communicate the vision to the team. And we need to do it in a way that we know that they understand what we're saying and that they understand where we're trying to go. And we need to be humble enough to receive their input, to receive any questions or concerns that they have, to answer any questions and to provide clarity, or for them to ask us a question that helps us to know, oh, maybe I didn't really think this part out as clearly as I thought I had as a leader. And maybe you have to come back and say, you know what, let me give that a little bit more thought. And then I'm going to come back and circle back to the team. And then we will talk about what that looks like. What does success look like? Because you have to be clear on the vision in order for people to be able to fulfill it. If there is not a clear vision, then people cannot help support you if they don't know what you want. And I'm going to tell you this, if you are a person that expects people to read your mind, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to drive your team crazy. Don't do that. That's unfair to them. And it's really going to cause you a lot of stress. So make sure that you are clear. If you see something that you want to have happen, communicate it. If you see something that you want to stop happening, communicate it, okay? And you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be nasty, but you do need to address it and you need to be firm. Don't flip-flop one day and say, oh, it's okay on a Tuesday, and then the next Friday, it's not okay. Like, you have to be very, very, very intentional about what you will allow on your team and what is not going to be allowed, okay? And it helps provide safety and stability. People are able to function more when they know, okay, this is how things are going. I know it's Monday. This is how things are going to go. And of course, we can have things that in, you know, like a fast-paced working environment, but everything can't be up in the air all the time. That creates a super unstable environment and nothing's going to get done. It creates really chaos, and we don't want that on our teams. So then after that happens, we want to implement the changes and we want to monitor our progress. Are we making headway towards the goal that we have? Or are we starting to see that we're getting our course, or are there some things that we need to course correct? And we need to adjust where we need to adjust. We need to get feedback continually from the team. And then we want to make sure that we are also providing feedback to the team as well. Remember, I've led over 18 teams. I've led international teams. I've led teams of young kids, adults, you know, like teenagers, all kind of things. So what I tell you works with any type of group, any background that the group may have or anything like that. When you're clear with what you want and you're communicating it and you're consistent in communicating it and you're not wavering it, you will get it, okay? You will get it. So now we're going to talk about what I practically do to establish a strong team culture. And what I want to know from you first is, what is the best company that you've ever worked for in your whole entire life? And it's like your favorite and you think, oh my gosh, this was super amazing. Or what was the best job that you had out of all of the jobs that you've taken? Let me know in the comments. And maybe I'll drop mine down there as well. So this is one thing about me, is that I'm always very, very super clear on where I am going and where I want to go. Ever since I was a kid, I think when I was in 10th grade, I already had a 30-year plan mapped out about what I wanted to have happen and what I wanted to see and where I was going in life, you know. So I've always been a very intentional person. And I can tell you, one of the ways that I can really tell a stronger leader from maybe a leader that needs some more development is that stronger leaders tend to be very decisive. Now, a mature leader is going to be able to be flexible if they need to be, but they're very decisive. They know exactly where they're going. They know exactly what they want. They're very, very, very intentional. And because I'm super intentional about what I want and what I'm looking to achieve, I communicate that from the get-go with anybody who comes onto the team. So I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of bringing someone onto the team, and then I will talk about it from the perspective of inheriting a team, because those are two totally different things. So if I'm bringing someone onto the team, as soon as I'm hiring them, I'm finding out what I need to find out about them. And then if I feel like they're a good fit, then from there, I am having a discussion with them about what the expectations are for the company and trying to see if they feel like they can fulfill those expectations, as far as, you know, I'm expecting you to get your work done on time. I'm expecting to not have to micromanage you. I am expecting to train you, and that, you know, if you need any help while I'm in training, I'm available. If you need any help after training, that you reach out to me proactively. I will, of course, touch base with you, but if you see something or you need something, I need you to reach out to me. So I'm communicating all of that in the interview or in the very first parts of the onboarding process, because I want to make sure that they are very clear on what is going on and where we're going as a company and what our goals are. Also, once my team is, working together, I'm very quick to course correct. I am very quick to see if something is getting out of alignment. And if it continues to go out of alignment for a long period of time, like I think about it, like if this keeps going on in this direction, then this is going to take us way off. So if I see something like that, I'm going to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. And that doesn't mean I'm being like super harsh or anything like that, but that means that I'm addressing it. I'm not going to be there like, man, I wish they wouldn't do that. Or man, I wish they would do this differently. Or man, I'm going to be flexible when people are in training, but I'm going to also say, hey, I know we tried it this way, but can you do it this way? Because this is actually what we're looking to accomplish. So I need you to go back and do it again. And I'm addressing it quickly so we don't have a long-term problem, because that's what I want to avoid. The other thing that I do is I establish a healthy team culture. So then from that, all of my team members kind of know where we're going and what we're doing. So then that creates an environment for positive peer pressure. So if somebody tries to go off course or is starting to go off course, I'm not the only person that will say something. The team members will say something as well. And when I say positive peer pressure, it's not like they're saying, oh my gosh, like not tattling or anything like that. But it's like, hey, it's like, oh, Barika says she actually wanted it done like this. So just make sure you do this. Or, like if you choose to do it that way, she might have a conversation with you. I wouldn't do it if I was you, but do what you feel like you need to do, kind of thing, right? So it's not just coming from me, because the team will be clear on what's needed. They will be able to see if somebody else is off course as well. I like to have environments established. So part of my healthy team culture is where feedback is normalized. So that feedback goes between me and the team, from the team to me, from the team to each other, so that it's a healthy environment where we're all able to work together and communicate what we need and what we need to have changed in a healthy manner. Now, if you want to learn how to turn a poorly performing employee into a rock star employee, I want you to watch this video next. And with that being said, make it a great day.